Hey guys, it's TotalWarKS. In today's video, I'll be showing you guys the top 10 mods for the latest patch 1.1.4, as well as some of the mods that I'm also using on top of the 10 mods from my previous video. So let's jump right in. Starting off with the first one on the list, BalancedTournamentArmour. Like the name suggests, now every time you join a tournament, everyone now will equip the same type of armor. So you will no longer have to fight against somebody who's like fully jacked up and juiced out in gear, making it impossible for any new players to beat against them, especially when your character is low level and does not have the skill proficiency in your weaponry, or simply to avoid the fact that you're going up against a lord who has tier 6 armor where your swings and your attacks pretty much just tickles them. Next up is the better time mod. Just like before, I've mentioned this in quite a my few mod videos. It basically allows you to extra fast forward, giving you an extra option. Not only that, if you press Control and space, you're then able to fast forward even further. You can see my game is completely lagging out because I'm going so fast. And if we press escape and head over to the options and then go to mod options, go to better time, here you're able to adjust the fast forward settings to however many more times you want it to go. So for example, extra fast forward button is 15 times. You can also use control space, which was a classic way to speed up the game back in Warband, and you can have this maxed out if you wish, just so you don't have to sit all day and wait for certain events to happen or to pass away. Next up is Bodyguards. Basically, 5 random units will be selected from your army to always be with you regardless of what commands you give out. You can obviously select how many bodyguards you want to have and what type of bodyguards you want to have. Now if I press F1 and F3, tell all my units to charge, and you can see that the bodyguards remain with you no matter what you do. No matter what kind of commands you give to any sort of troops, they would just follow you. And within the mod option settings, go to bodyguards. Here you can adjust how many bodyguards you want to have, or the percentage of troops to be guards, and then the preferred bodyguard type and whatnot. You can even enable it for the enemy AI generals if you want to, just to keep things fair. Next up is education. So if you head into any town, go over to manage your education. There should be a learn to read button, so that's the first thing you need to do. It's going to cost a decent amount, but once you're able to unlock reading, then you're able to meet scholars as well as purchase books to increase certain skill level. So for example, I'm going to meet the scholar here, and with 1,000 gold per hour, I can increase my stewardship. Now if it says there are no scholars here, you can head over to the tavern, speak to the tavern keeper, pay 5 gold for some information, and he'll tell you there's a potential bookseller or scholar in that location. So once you arrive at the city they tell you to go to, on the top right on the list of NPCs you will see the book vendors, and if you just speak to them, you're then able to purchase a selection of different scrolls and books to further your knowledge of a particular skill. So we're going to purchase the Pathfinders page and then head over to manage your education and then select what to read. You can then start reading this book. Governor handle issues. So for this mod, you obviously need to have your own fiefdom and make sure that you do have a governor. It can be anyone, just make sure you have one. And what it will basically do is you see these blue quests that is not being completed, and you personally don't really want to do them anymore once you own your fiefdom. You're a lord now. Why are you still doing these quests? So with this mod, the governor will start handling all these small quests automatically without the need for you to do anything. Same with the quests in villages as well. And now that I've assigned a governor and we're going to speed up, slowly you will see the quest disappear and it will be resolved. So basically I just sped up for quite a while, and you can see that the quest is gone. And I think because I sped up too quickly that normally there is like a log on the left telling you that your quest has been completed, and then some of the reward amount will go to you. And if we head over to mod options, we can also adjust this, and we can have it that the governor require the skill to solve the quest or not, and how frequently your governor will handle these issues, the amount of gold rewards that you get, relationships, renown, as well as giving the XP gain to the governor who actually handled the issue, and then what type of quest you want to handle. So by default everything is on. You can also select destroy hideouts, which is not on by default. So the main reason you want to do this is that by not completing these quests, it holds back the town's growth or the village's growth according to the mod, and with this then your town should grow in prosperity a lot quicker than before. Next up is my Little Warband, which is quite popular, and if we head over to any town, we can click on switch recruitment type and make sure it's set to custom. Then if we click on recruit troops, the troops will be these default template soldiers, and if we right click on them, hold shift, and left click, we would enter into this menu, and then we can pretty much change everything about them. We can rename them to recruits, and we can increase certain stats, and you can give different types of weapon to these units, as well as different type of equipment. And then you can also change what type of units they upgrade to, so that we can name this like foot infantry, and then we change it to archer, foot archer, or something like that along those lines. And then you can adjust the skills accordingly, give them specific type of weapons. And there are also many templates on the nexusmods.com website where a lot of players have made their own type that you can import into the game. And once you go back to encyclopedia, you can then see the changes you've made. And at any point you want to switch back to normal, or you want to get rid of this mod for whatever reason, then make sure you switch back to the native troops recruitment type before you take this mod away. Otherwise it may cause some issues. And then once you switch back, it should go back to normal. Since I'm in Sturgia, this is going to be Sturgian troops. Random events. So this mod, when you're just playing the game on the campaign map, there are random events popping up every so often. And here we come across a random hardwood forest event where we just chopped a bunch of trees and collected a bunch of hardwood logs. And there are also a bunch of other ones. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen for a long time. The events can affect your troop morale, it can affect your settlement, it can affect your health, it can affect your villages and whatnot. So they're quite interesting to have as something a little extra to make the game less dull and a little bit more interesting. Super speed. So this mod, once you are knocked out, unconscious, or eliminated from the battle, there is a new option when you press tab to speed up the battle, so that you're able to get to the end of it without having to watch all of it, as it can get pretty boring just looking and spectating without being able to participate yourself. And it's also a good way to finish off a battle without having to use auto resolve. Next one is the surrender tweaks. You can see at the top of the screen the power levels, and it will tell you whether the enemies are going to surrender or not. They have a high surrender chance or very high surrender chance. With a very high surrender chance, they will simply give up and they will not fight you even if you press them. But if it's only high chance, then you can fight them either way, but they will still offer the option to surrender first. When you are besieging a settlement, if you have an overwhelming force, and once again the chance to surrender text will show up, and if it's high or very high, then the defenders will want to speak to you, and or if it's only high chance, they will ask you to end the siege with a small payment. But if the chance of surrender is a very high instead, they will come out and straight up surrender and then yield the settlement to you. Obviously I have like really ridiculous amount of troops because I have the cheese enabled just as a way to show you guys. Finally, workshop completed. So this mod doesn't add anything extra to the workshops. What it basically lets us do is understand what your workshop is doing. You can see that within 7 days we can see what is being bought and what is being sold and the amount of profit you're making, so that you're able to better understand the materials going into it and the product is being produced. There's also the production log, which lets you know what is actually being produced. You can also enable stockpile, which stops you from selling the item, and you can basically sell it yourself instead. There's also the level to upgrade, which increases production level by 50%, and daily wage also goes up by 25%, and it costs 5,000 to upgrade. And then you can upgrade this twice to a maximum of level 3. And now quickly going over all the mods that I'm still currently using from the previous patch. So I'm still playing full Invasion 3 every so often. I'm using quick nearby tournaments, bandits militia, improved garrison, serve as soldier, dismemberment plus, more trait info, SuperX's legacy mod, and that's about all the ones I'm still currently using. So if you found the video helpful, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more future Bannerlord content. As always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.